Counting down the days, the future feels so distant. A lot of things have changed, and few have been resistant.
Ask you about love, probably quote me a sonnet. But you can't tell me what it feels like to wake up next to a woman and feel truly happy. Knowing someone that could level you with her eyes.
Hello everybody. There we go. Now, before I make my excuse as to why I'm insanely late, hello. Hello, Tony. What time is it? It's 24 past 8, and since I want to start the stream at 1:45, that's my time, 7:45. That means I'm almost 40 minutes late. If I keep going at this rate, I'll start the stream 24 hours after. It'll sort of catch up, and then I'll be on time again. Hello, Marcus. Oh, okay. I'm not even going to bother with excuses. So here we are. We're all here. Everything is all on time. Everything's perfect. So my goal for today is I'm just going to look at Bitcoin. Yep, that's it. There's lots going on, lots I want to talk about, but I need more time to get clear with it first. I mean, lots going on, like with what I'm planning for the Decentralists. Let's turn that off. So today we're going to look at Bitcoin, because the last time we looked at Bitcoin together was on Thursday, obviously, and some interesting price action has unfolded over the weekend. And so let's see if the leading hypothesis that we were going through, that we were sort of leading with last week, that Bitcoin was forming some kind of ending diagonal pattern, and we were looking for a potential really interesting short position. Hey, NetBroker. Hey, Luke. Let's see if that's still the case. We'll see. Something interesting today. I've actually got it working. So we're now streaming on Twitter, Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. I finally got it working. So let me just test this right now. Actually, if I go to Instagram, I should be streaming with the magic of the interwebs. So if I go to there we go. Nope. Or at least it doesn't. If you live stream on Instagram, where does it show up? It's not on the homepage. Maybe it's in my notifications or something. Nope. Well, it says it's streaming on Instagram, but I don't know where you would find that. Like, look, that's the Decentralist Instagram, but it's not there. Am I missing something, guys? Hey, Paul. It says streaming to Instagram, but no, can't see where it would be doing. Maybe got a refresh or something. No idea. Could someone do me a favor? Someone be like an engineer for the day and pop into Instagram and see if you can see the live stream working there. No idea. Well, it's working from my end anyway. It says streaming. So anyway, that's half an accomplishment, even though I can't actually see it. So, let's go. Let me get, I'll close a bunch of things down so it doesn't slow down. I don't need Spotify open. And that should be enough. Full screen. And there we go. So this is where I'm currently at. Now, over the last, I don't know, the last week, I suppose, since last Monday, we were playing around the idea of this potential ending diagonal forming. And in fact, let's back up a second and see, well, you know, where does this all fit in? And yeah, so here's a downward pitchfork that is created all the way from up here, all the way from the beginning of this huge bear cycle that began in November 2021, right? So, you know, big, well, crypto's biggest ever bear cycle. Did I say bull cycle? I meant bear cycle. And what was really nice to see was, you can see this more clearly if you go down to this, you can't see the pitchfork there, but you can see that when we placed the pitchfork, and this wasn't a like, you know, a concrete pitchfork, it was just like a tentative, that's the right word, pitchfork. And then we want to see, is price going to respect the geometry of this pitchfork? And oh, and by the way, how's the volume, guys? Volume's all fine, music, mic, everything's fine, yeah. And price came shot back down, broke a lot of recent market structure, and then came back up, and it touched our upper parallel line perfectly. And then the next bar, these are the daily bars, then the very next bar, the price shot up, which I think was a classic stop loss hunt, because this only happened on Bitstamp. If you go down to KuCoin, look, there was no shoot up, didn't happen in KuCoin. If we go to Binance, there's no shoot up on Binance. So the guys over in Bitstamp must have just seen a liquidity opportunity and just went up and gobbled it and came back down. So if we would have placed this short idea on Bitstamp, which I wouldn't have done, then it would have caught that. But yeah, we would have been waiting for another for a retest of this lower parallel, and we never got it. It never came up and retested that upper parallel again. But that might be fine. That might work out okay, because that idea was that we had a wave 1, 2. I can't remember what we had. I think what we had was a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's what we had, like this kind of upwards ending diagonal. I think that's what we had. I can't remember. But anyway, and price has, it looked like it was forming some kind of triangle. I thought maybe like an A, B, C, D, E or something. But then price has come down, and now my wave count has an A, B, C. And this B could be a triangle, A, B, C, D, E, something like that. And just kind of let me show you what I mean. That's sub minuet, so it could be something like that. A, B, and I think that's all right. A, B, yeah, A, B, C. But I don't think this is over yet. I think it's got another push down, because I think we've got a wave 1, 2, and then 3 in the fourth wave correction, and another push down. That's if it just forms a regular impulse, and that's so yeah, I'd be expecting another little push down. And if that's the case, then this is where the bottom, the floor of our ending diagonal might be. If this still is an ending diagonal. I'm really tired today. I can hardly speak for some reason. So have you guys been looking at this over the weekend? And so if we go back to the macro, this is all, let me just turn my headphones down a touch. There we go. It's a bit better. Testing there. Okay, so so this is based on, as you guys have been watching know, this is based on the wave count that this is an expanding flat correction. Wave 3, I'm going A, B, and this is a C, according to this wave count. And we've got this volume area up here, which is from May of 2022, this big area of volume here. And price has now reached that area of volume, right? And this little spike up almost reached this point of control level, which is kind of interesting. And so for this wave count to be correct, I wouldn't expect price to come to break through this. I wouldn't expect it to. And so the wave count that I've currently got, it really depends. This is like the crucial moment kind of thing. And so that's, if we go down into the lower time frames, down into the hourly. Given the context of the larger analysis, the larger, more macro wave count, I'm sticking with the idea that we are forming an ending diagonal. Yeah, I'm sticking with that, because we've got most of the volume in this first launch upwards, which is very typical of an ending diagonal, or often with a leading diagonal as well. You tend to get, where's my thing? You tend to get like a big wave one, and then if it's contracting, it'll be something like that. And you tend to have, it's very common to have most of the volume in that first wave. So you tend to have most volume in that first wave with an ending diagonal, and that's what we've seen. So it's not a perfect ending diagonal. I mean, look, the wave 3 could be here, and then this is a kind of a much more kind of complex correction with a W, X, and then a Y or something. And then that would have it as going like that, which is also, yeah, that's also viable, but that would make this correction just really annoying. So we can come back to that, but yeah, I'm expecting that one more push down, and we might even be able to draw a, once we get that final push, if we do that, get that final push down and it turns around and starts to come up, we might be able to draw a tentative pitchfork that will be like that or something, and that might help us with our final wave 5 target. So that's something that we can look out for. And the trouble, if you were looking for a fifth wave trade, like the next area where you can put the stop loss is not, it's not until way down here. So it's kind of, you know, it's kind of risky. So personally, I'd be waiting for the short. So I think today's going to be a shorter one than usual. There's just a lot going on, and I really want to get back to working on it. And it's about this. It's about the decentralists. Well, I can give you some clues, I suppose. First of all, has anybody been trading this weekend? Has anybody been looking at the charts? You're all being awfully quiet today. Let's see if there's any rumblers making any noise. If you're watching on Rumble, pop in the chat and say hello. Well, either the chat's frozen or you guys have been very, very quiet today. Maybe the chat's frozen. The last message I can see is from Paul Chock that says, hey Andy. Oh, okay, no, it is working. All right, okay. You guys just being quiet. So I've been in Warsaw in Poland for nearly, just almost coming up for 1 month. And me and my friends, we moved into this apartment together, but just Airbnb. So it's like a temporary Airbnb for 1 month. Like whenever you go somewhere new, or you know you're thinking about moving in with certain people, you know you want to live together for a short amount of time with no obligations, with no contracts, just kind of see if you know get along with each other. And so we've been together for a month now, and we think, yeah, this is great. And we've been just looking for, I mean, maybe you guys know I don't want to go as far as saying stress, but you know, like when you're thinking about where to move and you're looking at apartments and you're requesting viewings and seeing which ones are available or not. So we've been doing that for the last all weekend. and my friend is going away to Texas in a couple of days, so he's only got like a few days to go and view places with us. So yeah, I've been doing that this weekend. Net broker. Andy, can you clarify me this point? Elliot says that usually the corrective C wave of the primary ABC correction end of wave 2 usually ends at the end of primary fourth wave. Okay, I need to see. Let's think about any wave. When you describe it, Andy, when wave 2 of 3 of 7 of 8 of C of B of X, it's hard to visualize. Elliot says that usually the corrective C wave. Well, C waves aren't corrective. The only wave that's corrective the only C wave that's corrective is in a triangle, A, B, C, D, E. But the C wave of a correction. You mean the C wave of a correction, not a corrective C wave. I think that's what you mean, right? So the correction of a C wave of the primary ABC, okay, of the primary ABC correction end of cycle primary. Oh, okay, you're being very specific. So let's go to. So you mean this? So I've got my primary A, primary B, and corrective C wave. So this is the corrective C wave, the primary ABC correction, end of cycle 2. Yes, so we're thinking we might be leading to. Usually ends at the end of primary. Usually ends at the primary fourth wave. Usually ends the primary fourth wave. Oh, of the previous impulse. And the primary fourth wave, what, down here? That's what you're saying. You're right now where we stand with the macro BTC ends more or less in the same support resistance of cycle wave 2. Does this tell you anything? Cycle wave 2. Right now where we stand with the macro of BTC ends more or less in the same support resistance or area of cycle wave 2. Does this tell you anything? Yeah, I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know, because cycle wave 2 hasn't ended yet. Cycle wave 2 is down here. That's what we're looking at. So it hasn't ended yet. I don't know what you mean by that. Net broker, start of primary wave 4 bull run. The start, so back when it was like $3,000, the end of the fourth wave. So that you're saying that you think the price could go all the way down here. Start at the end of primary wave 4. Yeah, that's here, right? Wave 3, wave 4. This is the primary. So that's at about, just over $3,000. So you're saying that Elliot says that the ABC tends to go down to the wave 4. I mean, it can do, but in my experience, look, here's an example of where that did happen. Well, this is not wave 2. This is wave 4. But you had wave 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth wave here, and you can see where the ABC came down exactly to the wave 4 there, right? So yeah, it can happen. It can happen absolutely. But if we go down to this one here, it went way past that. Wave 1, 2. Where's wave 3? Probably here. 3, 4. So that'll be the wave 4. And look where the wave 2 went down, all the way past wave 2. So, and here's another example. Let's have a look. So wave 3, 4. This is wave 4. So wave 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And this is wave 4 level here, and the 2 comes nowhere near wave 4. So it can do, but it's not a rule. I don't know where you read that. I've never seen anywhere that Elliot says as a rule. It's just that the wave 4, because of the way the structure of wave 4. I don't know if Elliot says this, but this is just the way how I see it. Because you've got this typical. You tend to have something like that with quite a prominent market structure area. And so if you're going to get a very shallow, you know, if you're going to get a very shallow wave 2, then sure, but wave 2 tends to be deep, you know. So if anything, the A is likely to find resistance at that level, because then that's like a head and shoulders pattern, you know. Netbroker says, sorry, you are showing intermediate fourth wave in green. Intermediate fourth wave. Intermediate fourth wave in green. Okay, so that's the third fourth. So the intermediate fourth wave of the C. So what about that intermediate fourth wave of the C? So okay, so you're saying, like, is that what you're saying? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the wave 4 here, and you're saying that the fourth wave should find resistance, should end there. Is that what you're saying? That's what you're saying. Sorry, in your chart, you are showing the intermediate wave 4 green on your chart. Yeah, my intermediate level is green. Yeah, I'm afraid without showing me a chart, it's really hard to explain this stuff, you know. Andy, the fourth wave of the third of the C of the 2, you know. I'm not quite sure exactly. Someone maybe help Netbroker out. I'm really not sure kind of what you're trying to get at, I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm still rereading what you're saying, but I'm afraid I don't get it. Maybe show me a chart. You can't link to a chart in the chat. You've got to send me a DM in the network. Right? kingsilver.net. Send me it in there, and then I can have a look. But I'm finding it hard to understand what you're getting at, I'm afraid. So where was I? Oh yeah, I was just telling you about my my situation. Netbroker says, no, you are not seeing. No, I'm not seeing, I'm afraid, no. Correct. And so I've been doing a lot of soul searching and thinking about what I want to do with this live stream. And I've had some really interesting epiphanies. And it's funny because my Instagram has said decentralist on it as a sort of a self-descriptive, reference for, God, like what, 2 years or something. Netbroker says your intermediate fourth wave in your bull cycle. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, sorry. It's over here. Oh, I see. Yeah, prices come up to that level. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't notice that. We got there in the end. Yeah. So yeah, you were calling this cycle. Like a different degree. So it had me all confused. Let's make this blue or something. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Well, if this wave count is correct, then, this does feel corrective, and so that I would be expecting that final push up. And to be honest, I kind of feel like yeah, I think I said this on the last show, but it wouldn't surprise me because look, this 30,000 is like a psychological barrier. It's a psychological level that I just wouldn't be surprised if price has a go at it, and it would fit in with the wave count that we've got. Like, there's lots of breakout traders who, once price pierces 30,000, they'll go long, right? They'll trade the breakout. They'll go long and place their shorts like below the 30,000, because they'll be expecting price to come back up and maybe like retest the 30,000 and spike up. And so for a lot of institutions that maybe their technicals are saying that this is due a fall, and they have the clout to kind of manufacture and manufacture liquidity, meaning not force people, but heavily encourage people to go long as soon as you get up here. Then they can be the counterparties to those longs and gobble up all that liquidity. And also as well, there might be lots of people who will be going short, and they'll be placing their stop losses above 30,000, thinking that 30,000 will likely act as a level of resistance. And so you've got the stop losses above 30,000, and then you've got the breakout traders who will be going long above 30,000, and that is a potential, a lot of liquidity that will be sitting up there. Do you understand what I mean when I say liquidity? Right, because those short orders, those long orders of the breakout traders wanting to go long, they need counterparties, right? They need to be if they're longs, they need to be trading with the shorts. And so if the institutions, they want to go short, they want to because if they've got like big money, if they just start going short now, they'll move the market, and they want to be able to get some much better positions. And so this is how markets are manipulated by institutions, and it's not nefarious, it's not evil, it's just like they need liquidity, and so part of their strategy is finding that liquidity, sometimes manufacturing it and sometimes just finding it, and it's fair game. And so I would imagine that we would get something. Let me see, if I was trying to manufacture this liquidity, what I would do, I think, is I would push price up, and then I'd maybe at 30,000 I would like drop it back down again, and I'd bring it back up to 30,000, and I drop it, and I do something to make it look like that's now a ceiling. I create double tops or something, and then I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm saying if I was an institution who had loads and loads of power to do this, I think this is what I would do. I would create some kind of a double top, and you just have like your tons of sell orders right there, so it just can't go any further. Create a kind of double top pattern. And then when price comes up like this, you're going to get tons of shorts, right? Loads of shorts, and they're going to place their stop loss sort of above here, right? Now, as the institutions, right, like stop loss, you want to be the counterparty to that, because that stop loss is a long, and you want to be counterparty to that, and you want to go short. And so they'll have all of these short order, loads of short orders, where all the stop losses are, right? And they'll let all the people go long, put all their stop losses in, and then I think we'll see. That's not right. It'll be like, boom, a quick move up, gobble up all of that liquidity, and then that's it. Now, I'm not saying that is going to happen. I'm just saying I've seen that happen a bunch of times, and we're at a key level, $30,000, and it wouldn't surprise me if that did happen. And if it does happen, it would totally be in line with the price action that we would be expecting if this wave count is correct, because we'd be expecting a corrective move up, and that corrective move up would coincide with this kind of structure. So if it does happen, then you can all just think I'm a genius. If it doesn't, then I'll just forget I said anything. But no, this is still instructive, because this kind of stuff does happen all the time. And whenever you're doing your analysis, you have to factor this in. Like, this is like, it's like, don't hate the player, hate the game. As well as doing your analysis, looking for whatever chart patterns that you like to look for, whether you're doing market geometry or you are using edit wave principle, or whatever your analysis that is your favorite, you've got to factor in what the big guys are doing. If you're not factoring in what the big guys are doing, you're not paying attention, right? Look at that, boom. So that's kind of like, you can use the market geometry to kind of, help you anticipate what could happen. But this is why when I ended the show on Thursday, before we had this sort of corrective move here, at the time I was thinking maybe this is the end of the move. This is the end of the ending diagonal. We had this sharp move down, and I thought, right, that could be the ending diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this could be wave 1 of the coming move. And so I placed a short. Oh yeah, we had this move up here, right, and it touched the upper parallel of the downward moving pitchfork perfectly, and then I think that happened on the show. I can't remember. I watched it happen, but I can't remember if it happened exactly on the show. It might have been afterwards. But then because we got this kind of corrective move back this way, back down, which should have, if we're sort of in reverse now, wave 1, corrective 2, and then we're going to get a 3, corrective 4, 5. If we're expecting an impulse down, well, this move here, to me, was corrective, and so that told me, okay, it's not over yet, right? It's not over yet. There's still more corrective action taking place, and so because of that, I took away the short position. I got rid of it, and it wouldn't have been hit anyway, because it was set. You can see it was like set, assuming that price was going to come up and hit that upper parallel and retest it, and it never did. So made no difference anyway. But because now there's more corrective structure unfolding, if the ending diagonal hypothesis remains true, it means that this is wave 3, or possibly this, and we've still got the corrective structure taking us down a little bit further. And then if this is correct, we would then expect a final corrective move upwards, which just so happens, because of the price levels, would be the kind of price structure that you would want, which you would create in order to manufacture that liquidity, like I said, with the shorts, and then the breakout traders breaking out on 30,000. So that's just my hypothesis. We'll see what happens. And if it works out exactly like this, then you can just all call me a genius. And if it doesn't, well, if it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll just see what happens. As usual, we're not chasing with this particular time frame. What we're looking at, we're not chasing anything. We're like, I'm looking. Everything I've been talking about so far is I'm looking for the right short trade. Potentially, it might not manifest. Something else might happen, right? But so far, what am I doing? So far, this wave count hasn't been invalidated so far, right? If price were to break out of here and retest, let's say the 30,000, and then start going higher, then yeah, this is over, right? Now, I really think that is low probability, because even if this was the end of the bear cycle, as someone suggested last week, so this is wave 3, this is wave 4, right? So a very kind of truncated Y, so an WXY, and then a tiny little cute little fifth down here. If that was the case, which I think is incredibly unlikely, then we still see a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulsive structure, and that would complete an impulse wave, and we'd be expecting a corrective move down. So, I feel pretty confident with it, but I've got to keep stressing, I don't know. No one knows. The best we can all ever do when it comes to trading is find high probability situations. And so nothing in this wave count, nothing in the price action has invalidated this wave count I'm looking at right here. And so we march on, right? We carry on the way we're going. Any thoughts, questions, ideas about that, about what we're looking for. I'll keep that on, actually. I mean, if that unfolds, I mean, that's going to take us into, like, you know, past the end of this month. Paul says, so the wave 4 still not completed yet in your counts? No, not in the main count, no. Right, so wave 3, A, B, and so it's an expanding wave 4. Right, an expanding flat, correction to say, sorry, expanding flat. So that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed. But if it breaks out above this, and if it breaks out above it in a single spike and comes right back down, then to me that's the liquidity hunt. That's the bump, just grabbing that liquidity, the breakout longs and the stops from the shorts. So if it does that and comes right back down underneath, I'm feeling really good. But if it slowly sort of just creeps up and climbs higher, like with you know, it's not like a quick grab, then that would change everything. But we'll see. We'll see. So that is where we are with Bitcoin. That's where I am with Bitcoin. Let's see if this market, if this geometry, nah, it doesn't really do much. Yeah, I liked that before, but it's kind of lost its sparkle. I'm going to put some synthwave back on. This is a bit too chill. It's making me a bit sleepy. Where is my synthwave? synthwave. Or chilled electronic. I wonder what that's like. Tony says, not seeing lots of volume to help us find wave 3. Well, if this is an ending diagonal, Tony, then that's what we would expect, right? All the volume is in wave 1, right? That was the huge launch up, and like the psychology of an ending diagonal is you have this big wave 1, and then there's just a loss of appetite in the final wave 3 and wave 5, and so that's why the volume just diminishes. You tend to have the volume kind of like a big spike, let's say big spike there, and then the volume starts to just sort of go down generally. Nah, this music's a bit too. Where's my synth wave? No, it's not stations, it's playlists, I think. Here we go. There we go. Paul says, where did you get the chilled music from? If you like the chilled music, I can keep it on. Well, I'm using, I'll show you, look, I'm using this this app called Soundtrack by Twitch, right? And Twitch is, you know, one of the platforms we stream to, and so they've got this dedicated app called Soundtrack where it's all, you know, royalty-free stuff that we can use. So yeah, but I can put it back on if you like the chill stuff. That's kind of all I wanted to show you with Bitcoin right now. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm waiting for. Like I said on a previous stream, we are going to be doing more, shall I say, scalping or more day trading stuff, but not quite yet. Not quite yet, because then we would go down into, like, we would see this. And we'd go down to much smaller time frames, and you know, we look to find trade setups, you know, all down in these levels, right? This is the 20-minute chart. We would go down to the 5-minute chart, and we will get to that. That'd be quite exciting, I think. We will get to that, but not today. Not today. So we've been going for what, half an hour, I think. My drink. There we go. So one thing I've been thinking about is like the big why behind all this. And for those of you who are on the immersion course, which I think it's all of you, you might remember, maybe you don't, but on the very first video, when I'm kind of introing myself, I talk about how the most important thing to me is freedom. And freedom is my North Star. Everything I do, all of my decisions, my route I take through life, my, this winding path I've been on, it has always been influenced by this desire for freedom in all aspects of life. And my interest in crypto is partially, it's got like deep political ramifications. The idea that I believe that decentralization holds the power to solve a lot of the world's problems of corruption, which are caused by just human nature that is inherent in any centralized power system. So there's that side of it I think has huge potential. So in fact any domain where you have centralization of power, there is the almost inevitable outcome that centralized structure will end up tyrannical. It just add time, speed up time, and then equals tyranny. It seems to be an inevitable byproduct of human nature. If you have a centralized system, those who desire power usually aren't the kind of people who should have the power. Am I right? And so the people who desire power, they gravitate to the center. They gravitate to that centralized source of power. And so wherever that happens, wherever you get that, the kind of people who end up in power tend to be the ones that shouldn't be in power, whether that's in a democratic society where the most powerful people become the representatives that people elect, and so the ones who end up getting in power become the ones who are the most expert actors and manipulators and social engineers, or the people who can get the best working relationships with people in media who will talk good about them or won't share bad stories about them. If it's in a communist or a fascist society, then the ones, well, let's say if it's in a communist society, the ones who excel will be the ones who thrive in a sort of brute force military kind of role, where you're much better and much more brutal at oppressing and sticking your boot on the face of the people. You know what I mean? Wherever the power center is, that attracts people who want power. And so when America started, the United States of America, there was an attempt to try and to at the very least slow down that from happening. And so there was the attempt to decentralize government with the three branches of government, and then you had the in order for new laws to pass, you had to have the agreement of both the Senate and the House of Representatives, and the senators were voted in every 6 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the House of Representatives, I believe, are voted in every 2 years. Is that right, guys? And so you have different perspectives, right? The people who are getting voted in a lot more frequently, they are much more sensitive to doing what the people who are voting for them, doing what they want them to do, because they know that if they don't, they're out within 2 years. Whereas the senators, who have a much longer time frame, they've got a bit of time to do what they think is necessary. And then so the two forces have to agree. So again, it's an attempt to decentralize power. now it's all going fucked. It's all fucked. Everything's, everything's corrupt. I think everything's been captured, whether it's through the progressive centralization of media. I think there was at one time, I think you can even look it up, there was like 100 different media organizations, and now there's like 5 or 6. So yeah, the centralization of media, that is where the narratives are controlled by a very few amount of people. And then you've got big pharma, who are, I believe, governments around the world are nothing more than marketing departments now. Anyway, I won't go down into that rabbit hole, but it seems to be like the inevitable march of power to consolidate. Power wants more power, and this is not even some sort of like weird conspiracy kind of like, or even like, oh, power's evil. No, we want more power. We want more status. We want to get a pay rise. We want more. It's like a human thing. So whether the individual wants more, or an organization wants more, or an institution wants more, it's just it's human nature. Whether it's an individual wanting more power, or a government wanting more power, it's just the way it goes. And so, where does that end? I mean, in Plato, I'm going on a big rant now, but in Plato's Republic, he I don't agree. It was basically like a communism a handbook, Plato's Republic. But he said some really interesting things, and Plato believed that there was a cycle that societies went through. And I think the first one was aristocracy, the next one was democracy, the one after that was, what did he call it? I can't remember. It's the one where basically all the money is held by a very few people. Oligarchy, I forget. And then the next result is tyranny, is like a despot or something. And so it just seems like the way, and then there's like a revolution, or the whole thing crashes and crumbles. And it does seem like we're moving towards that direction, doesn't it? It does seem like that we're starting to see the vice slowly coming in. I don't know. So, sorry, a big run there. I see the solution to a lot of this is decentralization. I mean, what is decentralization? Like technically, in the crypto space, right? A decentralized system is a system that doesn't rest on a single point of failure, right? It isn't a single computer, a single server that can either be, it can go down, or it can be corrupted, it can be manipulated, stolen. The essential power of a decentralized system is that it exists simultaneously on multiple nodes, and so there is no single point of failure. And it also means, in order to attack the system, manipulate the system, every single node, or at least depending on how it's designed, at least 51% of the nodes have to be compromised. And again, depending on how it's designed, then that can be incredibly difficult, if not virtually impossible, at least thus far with Bitcoin, because it's so expensive, impossibly expensive, resource-wise, to do what's called a 51% attack on the Bitcoin network. It just hasn't been. It's just not possible. When we have quantum computers, that would be possible, but then the miners would then have quantum computers too. So, and that's the power of decentralization. And so the philosophy of decentralization. Now, there's a book that I've actually just bought, and it's from someone who's actually an advisor on the King Silver project, Mr. Max Borders, and he literally wrote the book on this. He wrote a book called The Decentralist, and I've just bought it, and I'm gonna read it, because he goes his writings tend to go quite deep into philosophy and political science and stuff. So that'll be really interesting. But without going too deep into that, I just see decentralization as the path to freedom, justice, security, and absolute fairness. And so think about it in your life, right? If you have a 9-to-5 job and you don't trust your boss 100%, you don't trust the company 100%, you don't trust the industry you're in 100%. Well, now your entire life, right? Your entire your personal economy, your family's finances rests on a single point of failure, and that point of failure can be affected by innumerable things that are outside your control. And so at the back of your mind, you may have always an ever-present sense of anxiety, because you're aware that, you know, your entire life hangs on a single cord, you know, on a single thread. And that's just one example of you know, your income is centralized. And just in my life, I've found that freedom from anxiety, freedom from fear, you know, freedom, it comes from taking a decentralist path. I believe in geographical decentralization. Now, this is not how everyone wants to live, I get that, right? But if something goes down in the UK, if something goes down in Poland, I was in Ukraine in December 2020, it's 23 now, so 2021, so about 3 weeks before Putin invaded. I was in Kiev, and I was on the phone to my mum, and she was saying the news are all saying that, you know, Putin's got all his military building up on the border, and I was like, Mum, in this condescending voice, Mum, Putin's not going to invade. And obviously he did. But the point was, stuck my stuff in a suit. Well, I was going home for Christmas anyway, right? So, but let's say I wasn't, pack my stuff up and go somewhere else. I'm in Warsaw in Poland now, and I'm going to be staying here for a bit. I don't know how long for. But I like to live that kind of life where I can, you know, as long as it's possible, I can go other places. And for that reason, I try to travel as light as possible. All this Livestream gear that I've got right now is all as portable as possible. I've got some portable monitors. All these lights are, as like all the tripods are the most lightest weight tripods you can buy. They fold up in the most compact way that you can possibly buy. This tripod the camera's on is the lightest tripod you can buy. The camera is not a Sony, like a DSLR, Nikon or Sony. It is a Sony, but it's like a compact camera. I've got the 12-inch laptop. So everything, you know, everything as much as possible is you know, folds into a smaller space as possible, because I like to be. I don't want my location to be to have a single point of failure. And I've already, it's more obvious when you talk about income streams, obviously. Anyway, so I think that, I think that the Decentralist show and community, I think, like, what is behind everyone into crypto. Now, I know there's some people in crypto, there's many people in crypto obviously who are they're building and they're trying to solve some of these financial the problems of centralized finance and you know, all these things I talk about, but the vast majority of the users, of investors and people in the crypto space, are there because they see crypto as a potential avenue to achieve freedom. Obviously financial freedom by making hopefully some great investments, but I think a great deal of people, they see the power of holding something that no one can take from you, right? There's a like, what is financial freedom if that money is in a bank and there's a bank run and they say, sorry, you can't withdraw? So what do you mean? It's my money. Technically that's not true, you know. So how free is somebody who has millions of pounds in a bank that they can't withdraw? Or how free is somebody that has a fortune in a bank that has just blown up? And so I think, you know, more and more people, especially with, you know, after what's coming, you know, with what's coming, I think there's going to be a lot more people interested in crypto, because everyone who's got Bitcoin in their wallets, there's no Bitcoin collapse. Like, price is volatile. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, you will always be able to get your Bitcoin from your wallets. Now, if you've got Bitcoin, if you've got cryptocurrency in centralized exchanges, that's not much different than having it in a bank, because you're still trusting that centralized exchange with your assets. You might trust Binance, you might trust KuCoin, you might trust that they have your assets, and the best ones, they should have independent audits that show, and this is what, you know, this is what FTX didn't do. FTX stole all of their depositors' crypto and just gambled with it. So insane. And so if a centralized exchange really goes out of the way to prove to you, to satisfy you that they do have your crypto, you know, you've given it to them, but you're confident they still have it, and so there's no liquidity issues or anything, then, you know, fine. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But all the time your crypto is inside your wallet, right? Assuming you haven't, the private keys are safe, it will always stay there. There is nothing anyone can do. The only way to get that is by beating the private key out of you. It's called the I think my friend called it the spanner hack, or the spanner hack. It's where they just like whack you in the head with a spanner until you give them the private key. So there's always that danger, right? But apart from that, there is nothing anyone can do. Imagine that. Imagine you've got a safe with gold in, and there is nothing anyone can do to access that gold. I mean, the most possible security you can have is, let's say, a multi-signature crypto, what do they call it? A multi-sig wallet, where as many signatures as you want has to be entered in order for money to be withdrawn. And you can set up in a way where someone could attack you with a wrench, and you're like, that's it, the wrench attack, not the spanner attack. And you could say, listen, I only have my part. The other part is, you know, is in different sources around the world, or, you know, and I would have to travel to those locations and get the private keys, and they've all been instructed if I turn up with any bruises, or, like, I don't know, you can make it so difficult to take your money, like insanely difficult, if not impossible, if you designed it in the right way. Anyway, my point is that I think the pathway to true financial freedom, one of the paths is crypto, and there's many other paths, and this is why I think I'm going on a big rant here. I'll stop in just a second. I think the scope of what it means to be a decentralist is actually far bigger than just crypto, because I think there's something that everyone has in common who would be interested in this idea of becoming a decentralist, and that idea is it's the freedom seekers. It's the desire for freedom, right? And entwined with that sense, that desire for freedom, is a desire for security. And that's something that I think more and more people are going to realize that isn't going to be found in centralized banks. And some people are going to find that out the hard way, I think. Okay, that's the end of that rant. That's a long rant. I've completed my rant, but I'm going to go into this and be more specific at some point soon, in the next week or two. But it's going to be cool. Like, I've just been really tapping into the why, like what this is all about, the big why. Because the thing I'm most passionate about is freedom, right? It's the thing I'm sorry, I should have actually like zoomed in here when I was doing my little rant. But freedom is the most important thing to me. It's the thing I'm most passionate about. It's the thing that, like, I've been taking this kind of this course, which is designed for founders to really get in touch with their mission, their purpose. And one of the questions it posed along this path was, what is something that you lose track of time doing, right? You enjoy it so much, you just lose track of time when you're doing it. And I was like starting to like really think about that, and I realized that the thing that I do that I just lose track of time is when I'm learning something new that is in the service of making me more free. That's it. That's the thing I love the most. And what I realized is that's what I end up teaching other people. I learned this thing that is selfishly because it makes me moves me towards more freedom, and then other people want to know how I did it, because on that journey I will discover much more efficient ways of doing things than the way it was taught, or I discover connections that other people haven't made, learning models, teaching models, and then I'm really good at teaching, and so I then teach people what I've learned. And so I've realized, literally in the last few days, that what I want to do, and I'll end this little rant with this, but what I want to do with Decentralists is I want Decentralists to be an extension of my journey to freedom. And so everything I learn on that journey, and the first thing that you guys have been learning from me is this crypto trading, market analysis. Why did I become so obsessed with understanding how financial markets move, understanding how these how crypto markets move? Because learning that was in service of me striving to be more financially free. And then now here I am teaching it to you guys. But that means that this is far, far bigger than just crypto, just trading, just investing. This is part of the broader passion that I have for learning how to be more free. And so that means that I'm really excited in the Decentralist being including far more things that I'm going to be passionately learning and then helping you guys on that path too. And so there'll be more ways to attain financial freedom. There'll be how to attain more geographical freedom, like relocating to different countries, living a more nomadic existence. And although again, this is not something that I'm yet at all an expert on, but it's something I'm going to be exploring for myself passionately, is like international sort of tax situations. How do you reduce your tax legally? How do you relocate to different locations and get residencies, multiple passports? Like you guys might have heard of a YouTuber. He's got a business called Nomad Capitalist. I've been following that guy for years, and there's a few other people in that kind of space. But Nomad Capitalist, he starts his videos by saying something along the lines of, we help 6, 7 and above figure entrepreneurs go where they're treated best. And that's fine. So he's going for people who are already like absolutely killing it, already kind of rich, and he's helping them, whatever. But that means that, well, okay, but how do I get there? How do I get to the point where I'm like a 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure entrepreneur? And that's the journey that I'm on. That's what I'm passionate about, not just the money side of things, every aspect of freedom. And so that's what I've sort of realized over the weekend, really, that the Decentralist is going to be broader, right? But we're still focusing on the trading, because this is something that is like very, very it's exactly what we've been focusing on for the last those of you who've been with me for the last year or two. This is what we're focusing on right now, but I'm showing you that this is one piece of what's going to be a much broader endeavor. And so nothing else changes. We're still, my focus is still this. My focus is still King Silver. But then as soon as I start to get really, really deep in, incorporating in different countries, I'm going to then be sharing what I've learned. Here's the best. Here's all the research I've done, and I found out that the best place to incorporate a company is here, and here's the kind of tax situations I've been looking at. Here's the pros and cons of these different places. I want to go into all that stuff as well, because I think there'll be some people who will be really, really interested in that. Literally to decentralize your corporate structure, to decentralize your tax obligations and all that kind of stuff. So, okay, rant over. What do you guys think of that, by the way? There's going to be no change anytime soon, but that's just something I've been thinking about over the weekend. You guys are being very quiet today. Pulls up for it. Marcus says yes, please. Let's see if we are streaming on Instagram yet. Yeah, still doesn't show anywhere. Luke says, I've been thinking about working while traveling, so I'd be keen to know a lot more about this. Yeah, this is what I've been doing for the last decade. Tony says, really cool. Do you ever buy P2P crypto for investing purposes? Do you ever buy, peer-to-peer crypto? I mean, I've bought Bitcoin from a website called localbitcoins.com, which is peer-to-peer. I have bought Bitcoin from, I think it was either Binance or KuCoins. They've got a peer-to-peer market. Is that what you mean? I mean, although local Bitcoins is shutting down, so that's, I'm not quite sure why, but that's ending. But there's no specific reason to do that. If you see a token that you want to grab, and it's on a centralized exchange, just buy it. Like, the only reason I would want to buy peer-to-peer is if I get a better rate, a better deal. Rob says, do you have a residence permit for Poland so you can stay there long term? The reason why I'm pausing is I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm ready to share exactly what I'm doing yet. I'm doing something, but it's not a resident permit. Although that is something that I'm considering. I'm doing something else, and I might share it. If you message me, I might share it in a DM. But I can stay in Poland as long as I want. But there's also a way to get a residence permit. That's the thing. This is, me and my friends have been learning this. There is a way to get a residence permit in Poland, for example. But again, I don't know how long I'm going to stay here for. I never know. I might get an offer, Well, I mean, I am deciding to stay here in month by month chunks. And we are looking for a place to stay, me and my two friends I'm with. And so if we find a great place, then we'll commit to 6 months or something. But if we don't find a great place and I get an offer and it's compelling, then who knows? But I think Warsaw would be cool in the summer. And, as much as I enjoy bouncing around, I do want to just focus, just really just knuckle down and focus on this stream, focus on King Silver, focus on, get back into the wave counting immersion course and build out the academy and yeah, just knuckle down. So, but the destination is freedom, and I want to take everyone with me, insofar as I'm able to do that. I'm feeling really sleepy. I went to the gym this morning and I went to bed late last night. That's my excuse. Andy, have you been working out? Oh, funny you should say that, actually. Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of like okay, here's what I'm going when I'm getting more when I'm more organized, which is definitely happening. Like, well, I am getting more organized, but today I've been just like not stressing, just like thinking and trying to get this new apartment organized, and I've been kind of really just having like deep macro visionary kind of thinking about Decentralist and where I want it to be and all this kind of stuff. And then here we are on the stream, and I haven't like prepared, I haven't like got stuff ready for you guys, but 100% my plan for the Decentralist is every episode it's like, right guys, here's what we're doing today, I've got this prepared, I might show you some news events, I might show you some charts that I've actually looked at, I might walk you guys through a trade, or we'll do an exercise together, and it won't just me be going like, I don't know what to do kind of thing. I'll be prepared, and I'll be like so I've got big plans, and they're going to be more organized, but it's getting there. Gorick says the idea of bigger freedom is indeed quite appealing, financial as well as roaming around. Yeah, I mean, this is like, because I'll tell you what, this is just me being completely honest, like one of the fears that I've always had in business is, and this is why I but I moved on from the shall we say the self-development business that I had but I moved on from in like 2016. The reason it was successful, it was like bringing in $500,000 of revenue at its peak, right, of annual revenue. We're traveling the world, teaching these workshops and things. It was amazing, and there's a couple of people who know me from that. But I was feeling that I was building a prison for myself, and really it was kind of like an identity prison. That business was like an identity prison. That the more successful that business became, the more I would be kind of trapped in this kind of persona, in this identity. That I just the more that business progressed, the more I viscerally felt this prison that I was building for myself, and I just deep down knew that I had to find a way out, and it took a couple of years to get out, and I finally got out. And so I suppose I'm sensitive to the idea of like, it's because when it's maybe some of you guys run businesses, it's not just about building a successful business, especially this kind of business where you are the kind of the spokesperson, the host, the identity, because you can build a business making phone cases, and it's the kind of business where you can be completely in the background, and you can, but the kind of businesses, the only business I'm ever interested in is where it's based on community and values and mission and purpose and teaching, and it's like, so it's like I'm only interested in a business that is an extension of me, of who I am, of my values. Like I can't start a business making PC mices. I couldn't make a business making phone cases. It doesn't interest me in the slightest. I'm glad some people do those, because I need, this case is good. I need a mouse. I need these things, but I'm not like a typical, I suppose, entrepreneur that will do a bit of this and a bit of that, and that's the only type of business. And by business, I just mean like a machine that is designed to do something. It has like a business that teaches people things is like a machine, like a conveyor belt, where the students go in one side and then they come out the other side taught, right? They come out improved in some way. That's like, to me, that's an amazing business. And then you need like the automation things. You need like lead funnels where new people come in and you can convince them, hey, I can help you, and they go, oh, okay, cool, and they come on the other side. They go at the other side. They go, yeah, that was amazing, and then they tell other people, or whatever the system is. It's like a machine. It's like running, and it produces money for you. It produces that you can then reinvest back into the company and make it bigger and all that kind of stuff. So that's one sort of like I see business as like a machine. But the only type of machine I'm interested in is one in which what I'm helping people do is something I care about, you know? Like, I couldn't teach gardening. I'm not going to create a business teaching gardening. Not that I don't like gardening. I've never tried it. I don't hate it. It's just not, I don't care. It's not an interest of mine. Maybe when I'm 60 or 70, I'll have a garden and I'll have a garden. I don't know, but it's not something I care about now, right? The only thing, I care about lots of things, but the thing I'm passionate about is freedom. For me, selfishly, I have always been striving for more freedom. And so you could say, Andy, go take this job where you'll be earning shit tons of money, but the only caveat is that you'll have no freedom in that job. You'll just be like fucking like a slave. Like, nope, not interested. Not interested. Being wealthy at the expense of freedom, to me, is not worth the money. I want freedom, and so everything I've been doing, my life has been striving towards that: creative freedom, expressive freedom, artistic freedom, creative freedom. And money, by the way, is just a vehicle towards that. That's all it is. Like I say this, like, to me, money's Lego. Money is just Lego. The more you have, the more things you can build and create. You know, that's how I see money. Money's just Lego. You just do more things with it, right? And so it's a tool that you can put to work in order to achieve your highest goals. And for me, those goals have always been freedom, geographic freedom, identity freedom. Like, if I just decide, you know what, whatever, I don't know, who knows, I want to become this kind of, I can feel myself changing. I can feel my values changing. I can feel my desires changing. I mean, look, with the previous company, I was a dating coach, and as a dating coach, the identity that I've been kind of forging was as this kind of like ladies' man, kind of this kind of like hot stuff kind of pickup kind of guy. And then my values just started changing, and it just didn't fit anymore. But I was building this prison for myself, and so I realized that I had to get out, because I didn't want to create a business that meant I had to be something. And so anyway, kind of coming full circle. Yeah, I did a massive little rant there. The fear is doing the same thing again. Right? And building something where you suddenly sense, oh, I've built a trap for a prison for myself, where I have to be this thing. And so, like, what happens if I think, do you know what, I'm moving on from trading, I'm moving on, let's say I'm even moving on from crypto, which I can't even, like, right now I can't imagine that. Well, there is one thing that I can't ever possibly imagine me losing my passion for, and that is the thing that has been the North Star my entire life, that is freedom. And all of this stuff that I've done, when I've been attempting terribly to learn languages, you know, Spanish and Russian, and for a very short time, Norwegian, why? Freedom, right? When you go to these countries, if you can speak their language, that's a superpower. That opens all these doors. The amount of even though I've only had, like, there's some of you guys who can speak multiple languages, I'm sure. But with the little that the little progress I did make with the Spanish or the Russian, I'll be in a taxi and I'll have like and the guy says, starts speaking to me. Let's say I'm in Georgia and he starts speaking to me Georgian. I say, oh, sorry, English. And he goes, oh, and you see him sort of, he wanted to talk. He was quite a chatty taxi driver. And I say, я могу говорить по-русски не очень хорошо, мой русский очень плохой, and he gets all like excited and he starts speaking to me in Russian, and I have to tell him, like, you know, my Russian's very bad, and obviously now, look, we're in a time now where it's kind of like no one wants to, Russian's like the language that shall not be spoken. But anyway, my point is, like, it would be amazing, like this freedom to express myself in this particular situation. Anyway, rant over. I'm going on a big old rant there, but I'm not going to teach you guys languages anytime soon. Trust me, because I suck at it. But if someone's interested, I could definitely tell them, like, kind of the pathway to it, because I know a bunch of people who are amazing polyglots. The guy who inspired me in the first place was a guy who speaks 13 languages. He's like a big language YouTuber guy. All right, so anyway, big old rant today. What time is it? It's 9:45 my time. Cool. So once I've got that all nailed down, I'll share with you guys what my plans are for that. But I'm thinking that the decentralist idea, I think, can be at the heart of what this community is about. Because, you know, the community, if you guys have been around for a while, the community started off being centered around wave counting, right? The wave counters. And then when the core started to incorporate the magic of market geometry, it was now not just wave counters, which I think is a much better route to take, because that we don't want to be trapped inside, you know, looking at analysis in a single lens, which is how I was looking at it before I really kind of started to really go deep into market geometry. And so it's like, okay, well, we're not just doing wave counting now. And then I thought, well, this is all in service of the King Silver platform that we're going to build. This is training up the future fund managers of that King Silver platform. So let's make the community around King Silver. But I'm starting to think that, you know, you guys aren't here for King Silver. Some of you are, right? But you guys are here to be free. You guys are here because you want to be free. And I think part of the pathway to that freedom is to become a decentralist. And so if you like that idea, then join me. And I think Paul says I've got to go now. All right, Paul, nice one. Well, I'm leaving too anyway. I'm leaving too soon. So we can wrap this up. So any last thoughts? Any last questions? And then I'll be back tomorrow. And God, I should be on time tomorrow. The president of Kenya just warned his citizens to look for alternatives to the US dollar. He says, those of you holding dollars, you shortly might go into losses. And he talked about over the next coming weeks. And I'll be honest with you, I've actually converted all of the dollars I have into British pounds. Because just a couple of people have sort of been saying some things about the dollar. Now, this isn't financial advice. I don't know. But there's a very well-known and respected investor. Like a sort of, he's got a big presence on Twitter, and he just recently announced a $1 million bet that Bitcoin will be worth $1 million within 3 months. I think it was within 3 months, but implying that that's because of the potential hyperinflation of the US dollar. It's just one guy. Lots of people have opinions. I personally don't think. Look, I'm not a macroeconomist. I just watch some people on YouTube, and I have a general sense of what I think is like to happen, and then I go about my day. I'm not like I'm not that kind of analyst, so please don't make any decisions based on me. But I definitely think that you should look into it, man. Look into it. That's what I'm saying. Watch some people who probably know what they're talking about. Don't listen to me. And on that note, I will leave it. So cheers for hanging out for the last, what was it, hour and a bit, hour and a half. And I'll be back tomorrow. And I'll try and be better on the time tomorrow. All right, guys. See you later.